adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Thank you. Welcome everyone, and thank you for coming along for our meeting for the meeting of the 14th of March of the Order of Council meeting. Firstly, I'd like to begin by opening the meeting and acknowledgement to country. I'd firstly begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians and the land in which we meet today, the Darumbal people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to our neighbouring Aboriginal peoples within our local government area, the Gungaloo Nation people, the Barada, Cabelbarra and Yetamarala people, also acknowledging the Torres Strait Islander peoples whose lands are in the Torres Strait but who live and work on Aboriginal land. I'd also like to invite Pastor Freddie Johnston from the Mustard Seed Fellowship to give us our opening prayer this morning. Welcome.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today to uphold our council members and staffs, those who are working in Rockhampton Council. We ask that you bless them with wisdom, understanding and compassion as they carry out their responsibilities. We pray that you guide them to make decisions that benefit all members of society and promote peace, justice and equality. We ask that you protect our leaders from harm and provide them with the strength to lead with the integrity and courage. May they be surrounded by advisors and colleagues who offer wise counsel and support to lead Rockhampton region. We also pray for the families of our council members and staffs, especially our mayor and our deputy mayor. May they be granted the strength and resilience to cope with the demands and pressures of their loved ones' position. We ask you for blessings to our region and wider Rockhampton community. We also bless the custodian of this land and their families. We also pray for the youngsters in this region and protect from evil desires. We also bless this city. May we work together to create a society that honors your teachings and values the dignity and worth of all people. We give you all the praises in your holy name. Amen. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pastor Freddie from the Mustard Seed Fellowship. Very kind words. Thank you. Okay, councillors, we'll move into our item agendas. Apologies and leave of absence. Councillor Wickerson has a previous leave of absence, so move on to confirmation of the previous minutes. Can I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to the accuracy of the minutes from the meeting on the 28th of February 2023 be confirmed as true and accurate? Move Councillor Smith, seconded Deputy Mayor Councillor Fisher. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Declarations of interest in matters on the agenda. Councillors, Councillor Smith has indicated with the Mount Morgan Water Supply Pipeline Project, and Councillor Fisher a request for with the fee waiver one. So I'll hand to Councillor Smith and then I'll go to Councillor Fisher. Thanks, Councillor Smith, to speak to that.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. I've got a conflict of interest with item 16.2, Mount Morgan Water Supply Pipeline Project. prescribed conflict of interest arises as my nephew, Adam McAvoy, is a partner in NTC Industries, which has a contract with FRW to cart potable drinking water to Mount Morgan, and my brother is also employed by NTC. In relation to the proposed water pipeline to Mount Morgan, the alignment goes along Cabra Road, where my brother owns a property at 248 Cabra Road, and the proposed alignment also goes along Mimira Road, where my sister and brother-in-law, Trish and Don McKinnon, own a property at the corner of Mimira and Poison Creek Road. So I will deal with the conflict by leaving the room and staying away from the place where the meeting is being held when this matter is being discussed and voted on.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Smith. Councillor Fisher.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I have a declarable conflict of interest with item 16.1 request for later. This declarable conflict of interest arises as it's dealing with the general aviation area. Thank you for that. Area of the Rockhampton Airport, as I'm a member of the Peace Christian Church, which operates at the hangar Peace Aviation at the Rockhampton Airport, and my wife Cherie Fisher is a administrator for the Peace Christian Church. So I'll deal with this conflict by staying away, leaving the meeting while these matters pertaining to general aviation. Sorry. I will deal with this contract by staying away from the place where the meeting is being held while matters. I'm going to have to go and get an eyes test. The general aviation area of Rockhampton Airport is being discussed. My apologies,
No,
Mr.
you're
Mayor.
right, Councillor Fisher. I have those times myself. So, no, that's understood. There is a conflict with 16.1 for yourself and 16.2 for Councillor Smith. Councillors, if there are any other conflicts that arise throughout the course of the meeting, please inform the council at that time. We'll move on to our item 6, business outstanding, lifting matters from the table. The following item to be lifted from the table, the Ski Gardens Master Plan engagement. Could I have a mover and a seconder that matter lifted? Councillor Rutherford and seconded Councillor Kirkland. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you. Nil public forums, deputations, presentations of petitions. Councillor Latcham.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I've got 2 petitions to present today, both referring to the same location. First one's from Mr Wayne Hall from Schnaffenhauser Street in Norman Gardens. 172 signatures. To view our objection to the location of the proposed halfway house by Lives Live Well Limited at 389 Fee Street, Norman Gardens 4701. This property is proposed to be for the purpose of a drug rehabilitation and prison release persons. Our objection to this property is that this proposal is located within 300 metres of 2 schools, an over 50 retirement village and many young children in residential housing. That's the first one. And the second one is from a Ms Katrina Beresford of Schneider Street in Norman Gardens, and 12 signatures there, 12 other signatures. Lives Live Well is an organisation that operates halfway houses for drug addictions and prison release and is setting one up at 389 Fee Street, Norman Gardens. I'd like to register my objection to the proposed halfway house at 389 Fee Street, Norman Gardens. And as I said, another 13 signatures there. So just want to table those if I may.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Latcham. We'll acknowledge that they have been tabled as presented to the council. Councillor Fisher? Oh, you lied. Sorry, I turned it on before when you were there. Sorry, I thought you had a question. So that they be received. Are you happy to move?
Yes.
Move Councillor Latcham to have a seconded. Seconded Councillor Fisher. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to committee reports. Nil. Councillor delegate reports. Leave of absence for Councillor Grant Mathers from the 17th to the 27th of March. I'm happy to move as recommended. Seek a seconder. Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving on to our officers' reports. 11.1, the Ski Gardens Master Plan engagement. So Thanks very much, Steve. We'll hand over to, and I do thank the officers for that time while we had that pause during the unfortunate circumstances what happened in the ski gardens area. Thank you, Steve. I'll hand over to you for that report.
Good morning, Mayor and councillors. I present this this master plan sort of on the behalf of Brandon, who has left the organisation. But yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? So I'd like to put forward for councillors' consideration the draft master plan for the ski gardens, and for council to consider this to go to consultation, public consultation. The master plan was sort of designed on two fronts, which was a community-based, it's a beautiful spot down at Ski Gardens, to improve it as a community asset, improving facilities, pathways, playgrounds and different amenities there. But also what we did, as it's a sporting complex, as in a rowing centre. We consulted with local, the Queensland and Australian Rowing, on what they consider is needed at the site as well. So after that consultation, in the preparation, we think that going out to the community is really important and getting their feedback on what considerations are within the master plan. Next slide, please. So it's a pretty open, it's pretty similar, or it's the same sort of format that we use for the common in our consultation. It's a 3-week consultation period where we go out and ask 5 statements around the Sea Gardens and the plan for them to answer openly. We try to get their feedback also on how many times they generally go to the site to get some comparison on utilisation and where their comments are coming from, and then we just do a general survey there. So it's a pretty easy, it's a 5-minute sort of survey for the community, gives them an opportunity to actually open text and also gives us some quantitative sort of data to go off, which will then be reported back. So this will go to the 5th of April, and then we'll report back to council on that feedback, and then we will look for council to consider endorsing the master plan with the amendments from the consultation. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, just a question, Mr Mayor. I was trying to think while we laid it on the table what our concern was, and I couldn't come up with anything.
There was a fatality at the boat ramp, and it just
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot all about
Yeah.
that.
Councillor Smith, Rutherford.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Very excited about this one. It is an absolutely beautiful place of our region, and thank you to the staff for their good work that they've done here, and I really commend the staff and the actual document, and quite excited for it to go out to public consultation, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, no, thanks, Councillor Rutherford. I think I echo your comments there. I think this project will dovetail into the common master plan, where both locations on our mighty Fitzroy River really do cry out for improvement, and seeking other levels of government support in funding to develop those ones. But their plans and having that public consultation and engagement really allows us to start to look at the future about what we can do in those locations. So great work by the staff and everyone involved to date. Councillor Kirkland, question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I have 2 questions. The first question is the initiative for the master plan for this area. How long ago was that? Like, when did this start? When did the master plan evolve?
Yeah, so just before COVID, in conversations, it was actually with Advance Rocky to begin with, and that was about sports tourism and conferring with the local Queensland and the Australian Rowing to try to see what improvements need to be made there to get bigger events, state carnivals, national carnivals there. COVID sort of put a halt to that, but in that time what we've done is one of the sticking points was what infrastructure needed to go in for that sort of process to happen. So we've done that planning now. And I think a part of this consultation period is that we'll probably, with the Mayor, meet with Queensland Rowing and Australian Rowing, but we'll also consult with the local guys to work on trying to get some of those national and state carnivals within.
And sorry, with the 2032 Olympics coming up, it's a great opportunity there to seek that further funding to develop some of that infrastructure in that location.
Yeah, thanks,
Further
Mr.
question,
Mayor.
Councillor Kirkland?
Yeah, I just, in coming off the end of that, Steve, if I may, so did the master plan and what that would look like, was that put to the table at any point, or was, because you said it's gone through AR, I just...
Oh, sorry. We've had a...
Before 2019, it may have happened, but I just couldn't see it here in the notes, how it actually...
So we've had a briefing on the master plan. I'd have to check when that
Councillor Rutherford, have you
occurred.
got any background on that one?
The timeframes, no. No, I don't.
Yeah, apologise.
It just sort of came up, that's all, and I didn't know where it had
Okay.
come from. That's all right.
I'd have to take that on note. I'll have to check.
So the council have had input with this, is perhaps a better question?
Yes.
Up prior to this,
Yes.
Yes.
with the master planning?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
it goes
Mr.
back
Ray.
some time. Myself and Councillor Rutherford have had a number of, discussions around the development of that area.
So it's a resurrected project?
From the public, there has
Yeah,
been-
this has been
Yeah.
going through master planning for a little while.
I can actually
Yep.
recall, I think back in 2009, 2010,
Yeah.
when we did the master planning for both sides of the river. This was a part of that overall bigger project. So
Right, right.
Yeah, there's even talk of trying to link that with the Newish Drive section as well with footpath, but it became too difficult with private properties and the barrage in the road, so...
It was just the first that I'd seen of it.
Yes, no, there's a long history
Apologies,
in that space, so it's probably just the end result of a wheels slowly turning local government to get to the end point, so, many years, so we probably had different staff in those positions at the time, so understanding that.
Okay, thank you.
Apologies
And
about that.
I did say I had two questions that I deviated slightly. The second question was this, looking at the master plan, it's for the ski gardens master plan is what it's called, yet it does appear to be all about rowing. I'm a little, is it for skiing or rowing or both?
Skiing, rowing. So it's a community... sorry, Linda.
Go back
can
to
you-
the map.
Sorry,
Sorry, Councillor
Mr.
Rutherford.
There's no skiing in that area?
No.
So it's called the ski gardens,
I
that's just what
understand
the
that,
name
yeah.
is, but there's no skiing in that.
Just wondering about the
location.
name of it is all. Because this is, public have picked up on this.
It's the
public
location,
me.
it's the common is the other one where the common master plan is. You don't call it anything else, it's just the common, same as this area is the ski gardens,
Ski
and
gardens, yeah.
Yeah.
hence
It has
ski
the boat
gardens
ramp
master
there.
plan.
I believe some people do brave it and ski. Coming from, yeah, it's... But, it is a bit of a rowing complex. The master plan doesn't just take in the rowing, though. We've looked at, it's a quite expansive open space. So to the south there is mainly a park and sort of rec area. It does get used for bigger events, like with rowing, there's about 800 people or so. But yeah, it's quite extensive how we've looked at it with pathways, amenities, playgrounds and different things. It's two focuses. Council's focus would be focusing on the community assets, and we expect the rowing side of things to be advocated by the actual people that facilitate that as well. So there's generally two focuses. There's two ways the plan looks at it, which is our community facilities that council will work on over the years, and then there's the rowing facilities that the rowing, Australian Rowing, Queensland Rowing and the locals, with council's endorsement, will work on those sort of assets as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
You didn't wish to call it another name, councillor?
I kind of thought that it should have another name, but it's irrelevant. I'm not going to call it another name. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
just
fine.
curious why. Yeah,
Yeah,
anyway.
but no, I'd had people from the community, because of course this was laid on the table, but people had already seen the agenda, and I did have some comments from the rowing community saying it's actually a rowing master plan. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I just thought I'd relate that.
That is interesting. That's not what it's about. No.
Yes.
Councillor
Mr. Mayor,
Rutherford?
if I can probably comment, certainly it's driven by the rowing course and the events that we have here and the needs of rowing for those events, but it's a much bigger precinct than that, and it's, you know, there's also canoers and outriggers, and, you know, it is there's a broader group, but there is also a beautiful passive recreation area there, which, you know, playground and everything else. So, you know, it is far more than just rowing, driven by rowing certainly, and we're very proud of what we have there, but as the larger precinct goes, it's, I guess it's called the Ski Gardens, that's the name of the place, and it is the Ski Gardens Master Plan which takes in the whole precinct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that, Mr Mayor, that's fine. I was just raising the fact that the name says it all, and when we see Ski Gardens Master Plan, whilst it's the precinct, similar to the Common, as you've pointed out, the community who aren't familiar with that area might actually think, oh, it's all about skiing, and not participate in the survey. That was my only concern.
Yeah, we've had discussions about naming and different things. With that convention, we've just taken on the site name. So, yeah, I can see where the confusion could be.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Councillor Smith?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Just a comment and probably a question at the end. Yeah, I've been to a wedding there and it's just absolutely beautiful. And it seems to have been there forever, but I never ever went there very much before this. But Councillor Fisher and I called him, I think it was last year, to present some prizes at a big rowing competition, and I was astounded at the amount of people that were there, and kids, and everybody seemed to be very happy along the river, so it was just beautiful. I just noticed in the stakeholder priorities, short-term priorities, and we have weed management in there, so who can forget the hyacinth that nearly called off, was it the Olympics?
Olympic training.
That we're going to practice here only for the hyacinth. And anyway, the day I was there, I sort of hid my eyes and looked up the river, and the fellas must have pushed a whole lot over on the bank out of the way. And I just hope that we are going to put some serious money towards the weed management, you know, so that
We do put
area
serious
isn't
money towards
impacted.
Weed Management Council, we do. It's just a,
I know, we put 300,000
out of our
in there.
boundaries where the weed grows, unfortunately, so.
Yeah, but if I see they've identified that as a problem, and I think, you know, the more we can address that problem, the better.
Been happening for many, many years, councillor, and you'd be familiar with that it's not a problem that we can resolve unless we had mountains of money. You're not going to remove the weed out of the river. It's about managing the weed and how we can control that over the years, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it you know, along with everything else, a reason to try and get some government funding? Because it's not our river, but we spend all the money there. The state government should be helping us.
Oh, yeah, we've gone through it very much so.
yeah. Budget discussion, councillor, we can raise it at
sure.
at budget time, and yeah, if we want to increase rates to deal with the weeds, then yeah, let's put it to the table at that time. Councillor, we're just going
It
around
was
the questions that are already there.
It was relevant to what Councillor Smith was
Yeah,
saying.
well, I'll just go to the council table around the questions that were there first, please. Councillor Mathers?
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, just wanted to say that it's a fantastic project. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the community consultation comes back with in what they'd like to see as well. But it's a great area, and anything that gets people out and about and gets them, you know, out beside that fantastic river is great for us. I do have two questions, if that's right, just through to Steve. Steve, just on the back of what Councillor Kirkham was saying, you know, if this originally started back in 2009 or something like that, I would expect that because this has now come to the table, that we've recently just spoke to all the proponents that are engaged in this to make sure that what we're planning now is up to date and current, as opposed to if this started back in 2009.
Yeah, it's been quite extensive consultation with within the rowing factor, which is in the local users, Queensland and Rowing Australia. We've had the opportunity with the Australian team recently being up here that we were able to speak with the Director of Operations and consult with them. We've had a couple of meetings with the Queensland branch and multiple meetings with the with the locals. They actually have they meet as a group, which was very helpful for us. So the Fitzroy Rowing, that's all the members that use the facility. Yeah. So that was very helpful within but we've individually consulted as well. So, and that's happened over the last 12 months. So it's pretty recent. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. I gathered that we would have. I just wanted to make sure that was.
We had to kickstart it again, taking all the information. And then kickstart it, trying to get what we required right here, right now, and that's why we've done it. It's a 5-year plan, so there's some things that they've immediately identified, and by 5 years, but with these kind of plans for both the ski gardens and the common, if something gets done, they're online, we can edit those as we go as well. Yeah, make sure that they're...
Thanks. And just one more question, Mr Mayor, if that's right. It's in regards to the water side of things. I know everyone's going to go, oh, crocodiles, but have we considered doing anything in regards to seeing whether there's anything to get people more engaged with the water? You know, floating pontoons, you can get those inflatable slides and castles that go out there and kids jump off. I know everyone's going to say there's crocodiles, but there's that much activity there with people launching boats and jet skis that, if the crocs are away from that area, is that something we've considered?
We haven't considered it in this plan, but we can take that. We're in consultation. I'll take that in on notice as well. Those sort of water activities. Yeah. Yep. I can do that, and it is well utilised. So I don't think crocodiles are. Much
Mr. Mayor, I always imagine hire those paddle, little paddle boats and kayaks and that sort of stuff for a business up there that might hire some equipment. But I don't know whether there's that many people worried about crocodiles. But it's just a fantastic area that I think could get used a lot more by the community. That's all.
Councillor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've got a couple of comments I'd like to make. Firstly, when I was going through the engagement, one area there that hasn't been listed that is another feature of the ski gardens is its actual bird spotters there. This is one of the key. Shalom and the ski gardens are two of the areas that regularly have various bird spotting groups. And one of the tree species found within the ski gardens is actually quite unique. They call it a snotty gobble tree. And it's, as it says, the seed actually looks just like a snotty gobble, but it is one of the largest attractors of black cockatoos within the Rockhampton region, and that alone is an attraction. I read, seeing there's tree planting, it's sort of something there that anything there that was to be used in that area should also actually keep within the natural beauty and the sort of species types that are in the ski gardens. But it's another group that could actually have some interesting comments, because it was last year when there was a major rowing competition. At the same time, there was actually twitchers there looking at the bird life. So there was two complete groups. Both were not in one another's way. I think what it did do is there was more people buying food, burgers and what have you. Next comment is something that Councillor Kirkland has raised, that is probably many of our parks, we don't know the history of the park, we don't know the names, and quite often these parks have evolved from another use, and I always believe parks should tell the story. Before this goes to the public, it would be very good to actually have that little bit of history of why it was and how it's evolved now to being one of the best rowing courses in the state. When I was at high school, we used to have our sports day, Mr Mayor, sports days of going sailing in that area. But
Councillor, it's the ski gardens because that's where you launch your boat to go skiing.
Yeah, I know, but Councillor Kirkland was
since
saying, well,
day dot. It's been ski garden for that reason, and
And it's-
the rowings come after the ski garden.
Yeah, but, you know...
Do you want to change the name?
No.
I have a motion to change the name
There's
of
something
the
there
plan.
that you die in a ditch fighting. That history is good. But actually
Struggle.
telling some of the members, if there's members of the public that don't know the history of it, that would be helpful.
We're looking at
Yeah.
pressing the button on the consultation pretty much if after you consider it and it's endorsed to go. So I don't know if we'd be able to make those sort of edits, but yeah, for the consultation in any case.
I'm not sure with snotty gobbles and weeds and crocodiles.
Oh,
we need a
with the
master
bird
plan
watching,
cancelled.
we
I'm
may
very
be able to put something
struggling
like
here.
that in. Yep.
Yeah.
And some of the things that we're looking at doing may work for that sort of those people as well. The starting point for the rowing, a bit of a standout in the water sort of thing may help with that sort of, facilitate that sort of thing as well. Yep.
Thanks, Steve. No further questions. Councillor Mover and seconder. Councillor Rutherford.
Happy to move, Mr Mayor.
Seconded, Councillor Mather. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on, 11.2, the request for a minor change to the development approval for two lots into 122, the Gracemere Springs Estate, stages 1 to 5 lots.
Yeah, good morning, councillors. Through the Mayor,
Aidan,
just
thank you.
here to present a minor change to an existing approval. This was approved a little while ago. Just looking to tidy up a couple of things, acknowledging some of the changes in the planning scheme and that over that time. Yeah. So the site is in Gracemere on Washpool Road, so we're at the south end of town. It's got an approval for 122 residential lots under this particular approval. And then, so that involves a reconfiguring lot for subdivision and a preliminary approval to alter the effect of the planning scheme. Essentially, the old scheme, it was marked as rural zone. This was the idea of moving it into a residential zoning, which has since been adopted in our current planning scheme, so that all lines up fairly well. So this was approved in 2014. So the nature of the changes is just to acknowledge some of the planning around infrastructure that's happened, acknowledging trunk infrastructure, and so it's not actually changing anything really about the approval. It's just more of a minor administrative amendment, acknowledging where we have identified those trunk infrastructure items just to line it up, improve some clarity in the actual conditions of approval, and just to sort of align with how we see the direction of that particular area going with development. So there doesn't really change anything about the development. Like I said, it's going to, and there are still options with the future development for the applicant to take, so it doesn't preclude them from doing anything there. And so recommending for approval on the grounds of it satisfies what is considered a minor change under planning legislation. The changes don't conflict with the planning scheme at the time, which is the Fitzroy scheme. It's fairly well in line with the current scheme as well. And then, so yeah, based on those grounds, we'd recommend for approval of these minor changes.
Councillor Fisher, question?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. I'm actually going to speak against this because one of the things we've identified is the total lack of rural residential land within the footprint of the Rockhampton region. And here we have one piece that it can be developed that we are going to lose. And I just think that is having an impact on actually some of the development in Rockhampton.
Councillor, you asked a question. You can't speak to the against the motion, Councillor.
No.
Deputy Mayor. Okay, Councillor Kirkland.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to ask, with noting that this has been in the pipeline since 2014, are there any time restrictions on the development plans moving forward? It would appear not so at the moment. So what I'm alluding to is there any prevention, I suppose, of land banking? I don't know if that's the right way to word that.
Time limits on their applications, councillor, for that
Normally-
purpose.
Yeah, through the Mayor. There's normally 4 years per development going through, so, and then we can have the option to actually extend those. The developers can back and do that. And that is a part of what, probably when we get to the second extension, that's when we start to question what they are actually doing. There's also the update of the trunk infrastructure and so forth. If I could address Councillor Fisher's point, this is not a new approval, this is an existing approval, and you can't change the existing approval. That's what they've got. They've got a residential lot approval. And that was done back in 2013, probably 2014.
Yeah, we might, councillor, Evan, we'll get into the debate if that's the case on that one as well. Councillor Kirkland, further question?
I did have, but I might let Councillor Smith go.
Councillor
just
Smith?
with that.
I remember when this was approved, Mr Mayor, and I was excited then and I'm excited now. But I'm a little bit concerned about, because it's fairly close to that creek, which there's a lot of water go through those creeks going through Gracemere. They end up in Yeppen. And I noticed 16.9, it says all site works must be undertaken to ensure there is no increase. Could you just run us through the risk of flooding there, please?
Yeah.
The land does fall quite sharply.
Yeah, sure. So 16.9, I'll just double check that.
Yeah, 16.9 is mentioned.
Yeah, all right. So that particular area is pretty low risk. I think there's no real concern there. I might let Jamie cover the technical aspects of it.
Jamie, I'd just ask to get a microphone, please.
Morning, councillors. Mr Mayor, through the chair. So it's a little bit hard without a plan, but the pencil-shaped lot, there's also the adjoining property directly to the west, and they form Springs 1 and 2. So there is a significant detention basin in the northeast corner of the pencil lot, and the intention of that is to detain flows before it actually extends back into the creek. So we're trying to look at mitigating impacts that it may have in the actual natural watercourse. And the intention of that basin is also to treat it from a water quality perspective as well. So ensuring that state planning policy, we've got a number of quality targets that we need to meet. So the intention is to collect the water to a degree, treat it, detain it, and then release it gradually to the natural watercourse.
Can we see where it is on the map, please? The detention basin?
So see that big sort of area to the north of where it says stage 1?
Okay, yeah.
So that area there, yeah.
So can I ask a question, Mr Mayor? So you're saying we're treating it, so what sort of a plant are we going to have there to treat it?
Yeah, so we haven't got to that level of detail yet, but normally what we'll do is we'll have a basin with some potential filter media in it, and some planting in there as well to try and pull some of those nasty nutrients out, the nitrogen, phosphorus, suspended solids. So that's generally the process that when we get to operational works, we get into that further level of detail.
Okay, can I, Mr Mayor, through the chair, so that will be our expense, not the developer?
No, that's all at the developer's expense, so they have an obligation to
included.
meet the reduction targets in the state planning policy with regards to water quality. Yep.
So they would be well aware of that expense?
Yeah, yep.
Because just speaking from experience, I hate detention basins because they just hold the water, they breed mosquitoes and they look untidy. We've already got one in Capricorn Street at Middle Road. It's horrible. And we can never get to it to mow it. And, you know, the residents have just got to put up with it.
Yep.
So I hope this one would be a little bit better than that.
Yeah, so we try and manage them with a low flow pipe such that it'll detain water for a period of time, but it won't hold it for an extended period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Right, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kirkland?
Oh, thanks, Mr Mayor. I'll just come back to that original question around the time and the confidence, level of confidence that we have in this development moving forward. Obviously, it's been 3 of those 4 periods already and it hasn't commenced. So is there a level of confidence that this is going to happen, or are our planners pouring resource and time into this and it's just not going to eventuate?
I'll ask Doug to... Doug, did you want to respond to that one, or...
Through the chair, councillors, that's a tricky question to answer. So the understanding is when we get to a certain price point in Gracemere that this development will occur. We're hearing sort of a little bit north of 200 per lot is where things start to move in Gracemere. So that's pretty much where we're at. I couldn't say 100% whether this development is going to occur in 2 years' time or 5 years' time. I'm not sure. There's a relevant period in the decision notice, and Aidan's probably got that figure. So we can tell you when that decision notice is relevant for, but as to whether the development actually occurs or not, that's a sort of a crystal ball one, Councillor Kirkland.
Thanks so much, Jamie, through you, Mr Chair. Just with regards to that then, obviously there's already been a lot of resource and time that's been put into a lot of the research and et cetera around this. Regardless of when this happens, that resource has been recouped through the development application. Do they have ongoing fees that for each time that this has to be revisited because regulations have changed and things have changed?
There is a separate fee.
Okay. I would just hate to think that this is going to be dragged out forever. My second question is, could you just explain to me on page 35, it talks about infrastructure charges and refund for trunk works, and there's some 8.5 million offsets there. Can you explain that to me, please?
Probably Jamie.
Jamie?
Yeah, so councillors, the trunk infrastructure identified that the developer is required to construct. That infrastructure is offsettable, so they have an infrastructure charge that's payable for the development like any other developer, but there is trunk infrastructure that they need to construct to get the development across the line. So that trunk infrastructure is identified as broader catchment infrastructure, so it's infrastructure not just required for Gracemere Springs, but it caters for a broader region, I suppose. It's the higher order infrastructure, and that infrastructure is identified in the local government infrastructure plan. So that infrastructure is offsettable. So basically what we're trying to say there is that you have an infrastructure charge of a certain amount, but you have an establishment cost associated with that trunk infrastructure. The establishment cost is offset from the infrastructure charge, and then there's a reimbursement owed to the developer because those works are trunk. And this is a similar scenario to what's happened out at Edenbrook recently. Yep.
Thank you. I understand that. That's great. So in the event that the development doesn't go forward and that broader infrastructure happens, because it should happen, and it is paid for by council, that is then needing to be revisited and that charge reallocated back to the developer. Is that correct?
That is correct. So that obligation falls away from the developer, and then we'll have to do a recalculation based on what the trunk total establishment cost is and what the total infrastructure charge is. Yep.
And so my final question, thank you Mr Mayor, is still on that, and that is that whilst there's a development application that's been approved for that area with that broader connectivity of water sitting out there, council are not waiting for that development to happen before that broader connectivity happens, I hope. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we monitor that whole area and any other development that may occur, and when we believe trunk infrastructure is required to be delivered, then we would deliver that.
Thanks, Jamie. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks.
Councillor Mathers?
Thanks very much, Mr Mayor. Yeah, just a comment, Mr Mayor, which is, you know, as a council, we're looking for growth within the region. To have the growth, we need the development, and we need the housing. So, you know, this is a minor amendment to an existing approval, so I'm happy to move it.
Councillor Smith,
yeah,
question?
just a quick comment, Mr Mayor. Like, when people get approval, that things don't happen overnight, as we know. But I don't think it'd be dragging for as long as the Stockland development. That's been on the books for a long, long time. and our office has spent a lot of time with that when I was chair of that area, so, you know, this isn't the only one that's been dragging. Stockland would be a lot longer, I think.
Move Councillor Mathers, we got a second?
I'll second it.
Councillor Smith, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried. Oh, Councillor Fisher, you wish to record against that? Do you want to speak against? Motion been carried, yep. Okay, 11.13, sponsorship for Queensland Country Rugby Union Championships. Greg, I'll ask you to represent that report, please.
Morning, Mayor and councillors. I have a few reports, mostly around sponsorship and memberships today. But the first one, I have Zach Garvin obviously here with me and Justin Bullwinkle regarding this report. So what we're looking to do is attract yet another major sporting tourism opportunity. So Central Queensland Rugby have acquired this event for the next 2 years, and they have made a choice that Rockhampton is their preferred. That took some work between Zach, Justin and myself and others, of course, within the council team to secure that for Rockhampton. They were looking at other venues and they initially only signed up for 1 year, but since then we've also convinced them that 2 years would be a better option for them in Rockhampton. It's only a 2-year event that they've acquired. It's the first time, if I'm led to believe correctly, that the junior and the senior will be played together for this Queensland country. So this brings South Queensland Rugby, Central Queensland Rugby and North Queensland Rugby together. So not as big as our touch football junior state cup, but certainly several thousand participants will be, or about 2,000 participants along with officials and other visitors will be attending for this event. The sponsorship that we have at this stage negotiated is $10,000 per event. Plus some activation costs. You'll remember from the touch football that we agreed that we would hold their sign-on event and maybe do some activations around the river to ensure the participants and their families have a good experience and take away a good experience of Rockhampton as part of the event, not just sort of come and stay and go again and think that was fun, but you know, nothing really happens in Rockhampton. We want to make sure that's activated as well. From a staffing point of view, from a marketing and activation point of view, that can be dealt with through the Advanced Rockhampton team. Through the communities team, there will be some work required on those fields, but also at the event itself, communities will dedicate one staff member to ensure that they're the event contact on the time of this weekend. If you're wondering which weekend it is listed there, it is the weekend before the touch football, so we'll have 2 very busy weekends in Rockhampton, which will be fantastic. You know, it is a great time to be playing football and other sports in Central Queensland in that sort of May, June, July period. So the other item in there that I will note from the budget, and Justin has identified in his research, is that we will have to spend a capital amount after year 2 just to refurbish those fields back to their original state. So there's a $20,000 amount in there. But you know, some of that we may have expended anyway, but we want to identify that quickly right now up front so that we have all our cards on the table for you to make this decision. So the recommendation is $10,000 plus activation costs for the next 2 events, and the council authorises the CEO through me to negotiate the full terms of the contract and the benefits of the sponsorship.
Okay, councillors. Councillor Kirkland.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations to everybody involved in the conversations to bring this opportunity for the region together. I just wanted to look at the wording in here, if I could, Greg. I just want to clarify the bid. Was not still in asking for the event. The event is confirmed that it will be in Rockhampton, or is this a $10,000 presentation that we're spending to get to hopefully get the price?
To secure the event, we will need to provide sponsorship. So that this is on the proviso that we become one of the major sponsors of the event. Would they change the venue of the event? Certainly they have offers from other parts of Central Queensland to hold this event, but they've decided that as long as we come to the party. So I suppose what I'm saying, Councillor Kirkland, is, and to the table, is that a lot of negotiations have happened to get to this stage.
Okay. In this resolution here, it's talking about $10,000 plus activation costs, estimated $5,000 to $10,000. You've said that it's $10,000 per event, which isn't reflected in the wording there, I don't feel. I'm happy for my colleagues to correct me if they disagree. But also the estimated $5,000 to $10,000, what happens if it goes over that? So there's just a question here in my mind about the surety of the spend, the actual tidiness of that.
To answer both of your questions, you may be right. It maybe isn't explained. I think I've probably explained it in the financial budget implications section better than I've explained it there in the recommendation. And as far as the $10,000, that would be an upper limit of our budget. We would not exceed that for the activation costs. Okay. So I'm estimating it for that value because it's very hard to put a value on what a band and other activations be. But the events team will be set a budget maximum of $10,000. And if we can deliver it something good for $5,000, because we may get free activations in there as well. So it's hard to put a dollar figure on it. So it may not even be $5,000. But because you're talking about music, you're talking about bands, you're talking about a venue for a sign-on event. But we will have an upper limit maximum of $10,000.
Mr. Mayor, do we need to change that in your opinion?
I don't see, no, it's fairly clear to myself.
I feel that's a little open-ended.
Not really.
It's up to $10,000.
Up to estimated 5,000 to 10,000.
What would you want?
To a maximum, I would have said plus activation costs to a maximum of $10,000.
You put that.
Just understanding that sometimes if we're not specific enough in our recommendations, that it could be a successive council might read that differently.
And again, to me, for the 24 year, it's there. So it's got $10,000 for the 23 year.
And again, in 24 year, that covers that.
Yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
Councillor Smith?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Mayor, I was a bit confused about that wording as well, and I was wondering, does that 10,000 plus up to 10,000, that's 20,000 for this event, but it doesn't cover 2024, you'll come back and use your budget to fund it in 2024 as well?
The budget implication is that we will cover it within the current budget for this year's event. And as in the budget implication section, we will request an allocation of $20,000 towards that event in addition to our normal budget for 2024.
Okay, thanks. That's clarified it for me.
Councillor Rutherford?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to move it. I'm really excited about this. It's good to see these sporting events coming back to Rockhampton. We used to be very high profile as far as having sporting events, so it's great to see that happen. I do get probably what the councillors are saying a little bit. We're bidding for a 2-year event, and I'm just wondering that's signing off for this year, but it's putting an if on next year's budget. I don't know when we normally bid for a 2-year or a 3-year event, we look at the whole package. So I don't know whether that needs to be, that package needs to be put in place right from now.
With the touch.
Yeah. Mayor and councillors, sorry, Mayor, it certainly is a contract for a 2-year event. That certainly is what we're bidding for. It'll be the 20,000 plus up to another 20,000 for activation costs. So, we are bidding. The contract will be negotiated for a 2-year event.
2-year. So
They're not paying for it in this budget. They pay for this year's event and they pay for next year's.
Yes, yeah. So, Mr. CEO, how do we ensure that for next year's budget, if we've already committed that sits there?
We go into the budget workshops, Councillor.
No different to Rocky Nats, no different to Queensland Touch.
Yeah.
We are committed to that, which sorry, CEO, I'm cutting in, but it basically means that it is in the budget for the next however long, in this case, an extra year, in Rocky Nat's case, 5 years. So you are committing to have that in the budget or take the contractual risk to cancel that event. And there's always, in our contracts for major sporting events, there is always an out clause, but there may be a cost associated with that, as we have discussed in the past.
Thanks, Greg. You comfortable, Councillor? Councillor Kirkland?
Oh, thanks, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to ask whether there's any chance of us being gazumped by another council with regards to them offering to sponsor more, for example, to get the event.
If this is signed off today, the contract will be negotiated. I've spoken to the president of CQ Rugby. They are committed to us as long as we become the major sponsor.
Great, thanks, Greg.
Okay, councillors, no further questions. I'm happy to second. Look, Greg and Nod, thank you for your report and the work that you've done to bring this event to the town. It's something there that the economy is going to benefit from this small investment by council. There'll be beds and overnight stays, people eating in our restaurants and shopping in the retail shops and taking advantage of all our wonderful tourism attractions that we have in the town. So this is a great step, and on the back of the Queensland Junior State Carnival as well, it's going to be a massive boost to the town's reputation in that sporting arena. So yeah, happy to second that. No, I'm fine. I'll second. It's right. You're the sports spokesperson, Councillor Rutherford. That's. I'm happy for that. Okay, councillors, I'll put that. Those in favour. Those opposed. Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks again, Greg, for the work from the team.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, and Mayor and Council. Sorry, I should just add that my hat's off to CQ Rugby Committee as well. They've been great to work with, and they really are the ones that brought this event here. We're just aiding and abetting, making it a much bigger and better event for the city.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay, thanks very much, Greg. Moving on to the next item, 11.4, the Bowen Basin Mining Club July Luncheon. Pretty self-explanatory, councillors. Is there any questions to Greg on that report? If not, Councillor Smith, would you like to move? Seconded, Councillor Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher. I'll put that. Those in favour. Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. 11.5, the Queensland Resources Council Regional Partnership Renewal. Greg, did you want to talk to that one for us, please?
Sure, I'll talk briefly, and I have Mary Ryan with me as well, just in case. But this is a funny one to bring to council, of course, but it has a precedent for having previously been here. So Mary and I felt it relevant to bring it here again. We know all things around energy are very topical at the moment, I'll call it that. So we wanted to ensure that the council chamber were still in agreement to continue with this partnership. I believe the benefits of whether that previous resolution with the mining club and or this membership as well, and the event that they run each year in Rockhampton sits on the night before our Bowen Basin Mining Club, so the mining club lunch will be on the 20th and the QRC event's on the 19th. But really, this just highlights our continued focus on energy, mining services and just resources in general. So to me, it's a worthwhile membership. There is no cost associated with it. And, this group is a very high-profile group. We see former politician Ian Macfarlane as president of that group, quite vocal on behalf of the resources industry. So it's more than just coal, it is mining across the way, and we know that critical minerals will play a big part of our future. So I'm sure the Resource Council will continue to speak about that as well. So thank you,
you're right, Greg. There's that transition, but they're still going to be a big part of our economy going forward for many years to come. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher.
Mr Mayor, this was something I worked very, very hard in previous years to actually build, and that Rockhampton became part of it, and this was part of that stage of that evolution of that respect that we've built within the resources industry. So very glad to see that we're still keeping and hoping that we still keep this partnership going, and would be glad to move it.
Okay, move Councillor Fisher. If there's no further questions, seconded Councillor Smith. Put that. Those in favour. Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much, Greg and councillors. Moving on to 11.6, the 26th World Mining Congress, sponsorship of the exhibition booth and half-page program book advertisement. Again, Greg?
Yes, Mayor and Councillors. Well, I'm sort of excited for a couple of reasons on this one, keeping that flavour of resources, energy and mining in general. But this was actually a conference in 2017 when I was working for the City of Brisbane that I was able to attract to Brisbane. So it was quite ironic when Mary brought it to me to say, let's sponsor this thing, because I thought, oh, that thing's finally here, is it? 6 years later. So it is the first time this World Mining Congress has been held in Australia, and it is steeped in history. And if you do, I've listed a couple of cities there, but if you Google it, the history of the event has been in some pretty famous cities across the globe. So it's an exciting one. I felt it was very worthy to bring to this chamber to be part of a World Mining Congress, because I do believe that Central Queensland, especially the Bowen and Galilee basins, have played a big part in world mining and resources over the years. So the recommendation is to actually have an exhibition booth presence at the Congress. I'll leave it to the chamber to decide if or when any of you attend that, but you now know about the event. Certainly it will be staffed by one or two Advanced Rockhampton staff and relevant merchandise. And then the other part of this recommendation is an advertisement to ensure we're putting that Explore Rockhampton or Put Rocky on your radar branding in everyone's face as well. So thank you, Mayor and Councillors.
Again, thanks very much, Greg, and great initiative, and one there that, again, like we mentioned previously, we'll transition away from mining in years to come, but at the moment we still need to be promoting what those resources are for our energy needs going into the future. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher.
Mr Mayor, I think this is really an important exhibition to be part of, and I would like to not only support it, but one of the things that we built within the resource industry was that comment, and was that Rockhampton must have something really good when the board of directors are prepared to go into the showroom floor and actually sell their region. And that has resonated over the years. So I think not only there do I support it, but again would like to sort of see that elected members, if they are available, to actually assist in the manning of the stand. A bit like the old days there when yourself and Councillor Smith and other councillors there, we set up the stands, we manned the stands, and we built up a very, very good respect within the industry. So a great thing to be part of, and be happy to second your motion.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Fisher. No further questions. I'm happy to move. Seconded by Councillor Fisher, Deputy Mayor. We'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much, Greg. And we'll move on to our next one. On the balance, this really does balance out on the agenda with this next item, though, and I'll ask Christine to present that report about the National General Assembly of Local Government proposed motion from Rockhampton Regional Council. So thanks very much, Christine.
Good morning, Mayor and Councillors. This report seeks endorsement of a motion for consideration at the Australian National General Assembly of Local Governments. It's to be held in Canberra in June 2023. So the proposed motion actually calls on the Australian Government to support local governments' transition to net zero emissions through targeted grants programs. The Council resolved to submit a very similar motion to the Local Government Association of Queensland Conference back in October 2022. This motion was actually carried, and LGAQ has now progressed that through state budget submissions to receive a net zero innovation fund. So this is really a very similar motion to that, seeking action at a national level on behalf of all Australian councils.
Thanks very much, Christine. Yes, like I mentioned, councillors, this is something there that we understand that there is that transition, and to be part of that we need to be front and centre as well, and putting these motions forward really does give an indication where the council's future is in many years to come. So thank you very much for that report. Councillor Kirkland, question?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Christine, this recommendation would be hoping to get federal and state government to support local governments by way of funding and helping them to come into line with those net zero emissions targets that have been set by the state and the federal government. Is that correct?
That is correct. As you are aware, there's that nationally determined contribution now enshrined in legislation with the Climate Change Act around the 43% reduction in emissions by 2030 with an eventual net zero target by 2050. So there's some significant transition work to be done in that time frame. Some of those time frames are quite close when we start thinking about 2030, and this is really a motion on behalf of all Australian councils. As you'd be aware with the LGAQ conference, similar situation where they have to vote to support these motions at a national level, and it just gives them the opportunity to advocate for this as a priority then at that national level.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, because it is that we're going to need funding.
Well, it shouldn't take long. Thanks very much, Christian. I'm happy to move that that matter be dealt with in closed session. Seek a seconder. Councillor Smith, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried.
Does it meet the requirements
yeah,
to go into closed session?
It will.
It will?
Yeah.
All right.
I think they needed to go, because it was a motion, it needed to come through this process before we could move it into that. So, yeah.
I just, with nothing there, you go, well, does it actually meet the requirements?
CEO assures us that it will, so, okay. Thanks, councillors. We'll deal with the rest of the Okay, so we move on to 12.4, the notice of motion, Councillor Fisher, for the bonds of travel to Townsville. Councillor Fisher has granted retrospective approval for that one. Councillor Kirkland, did you have a question on that?
I appreciate that it's retrospective, that it's already happened, so obviously there's not much, but I did have a couple of questions.
Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming. Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Okay, councillors, I'm happy to move. Could I seek a seconder that we resume the meeting? Deputy Mayor Councillor Fisher, I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Councillors, any questions on notice? Urgent business questions? If not, we have 3 items to be dealt with in closed session, councillors. As we have conflicts of interest in 2 of those items, we'll need to move in and out of closed sessions to deal.
The first part will have the councillors move in and out 16.1 and then 16.2.
Yep.
So all can stay for 12.3.
Okay. But, well,
We'll do all 3 separate motions.
Yep, 3 separate motions, councillor. So we'll deal with item 12.3 first, and in accordance with the provisions of the section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulations 2012, local government may resolve to the meeting to be closed to the public to discuss confidential items, such as the councillors and members of the consider it necessary to close the meeting, so that the meeting be closed pursuant of. Could I have a mover and a seconder with regards to that? Move Councillor Kirkland, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously.
16.1, yeah, point 1 is Councillor Fisher has to leave.
Sorry, councillor, we're just trying to work through that because we've added another item into the to the resolution. No, I think. Yep. Now with 16.1, while we wait for Councillor Fisher to move the meeting, we'll. Yeah. We might invite Councillor Fisher to come back. I think in and out is probably the easiest way, councillor. I know it's painful, but because those conflicts are there, it saves the trying to deal with them all in the one motion. So, councillor, we'll deal with 12.3 first. The notice of motion that came from the airport portfolio meetings in Brisbane. Now that we moved that we go into closed session for that one, so we just need a mover and a second that the meeting be closed to the public. Have we got a mover and a second with regards to that? Councillor Kirkland, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. The meeting is now closed.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the
Okay. We need to open the doors there. Greg, could you just open the door? Or Ross, open the door, please. We're back in open session. Councillor, we have a recommendation that Councillor Fisher be approved to attend the portfolio-related meetings in Brisbane on the 21st of March 2023. I'm happy to move as recommended. Seek a seconder. Seconded Councillor Latcham. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much. We'll move on to our next item to be dealt with in closed session. And again, as previously mentioned, Councillor Fisher has a conflict in 16.2 one, and we'll ask for Councillor Fisher to leave the meeting before we go into closed session. Councillors, could I have a mover and a seconder that the meeting be closed to the public to discuss the following items which are considered confidential in accordance with section 2554J3 of the Local Government Regulations 2012 for the reasons indicated. To review a fee waiver. I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Councillor Mathers. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. And now the meeting move into closed session. I'm happy to move that the meeting be closed to the public. Seek a seconder. Again, Councillor Mathers. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming. arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Thank you. Thank you, councillors. Could I have a mover and a seconder with regards to the officer's recommendation that the request for fees waivers be, as recommended, be approved in the report? Move Councillor Rutherford, seconded Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. So can invite Councillor Fisher into the room, and Councillor Smith, we might ask you to swap the chairs over in that one. So we deal with our last item on the agenda, councillors. Are you right? Councillors, again, as pursuant of local government regulations, we need to move this item, Mount Morgan Water Supply Project, in accordance with section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulations 2012. It considered necessary to close the meeting to discuss the negotiations relating to the commercial matter involving the local government, for which the public discussion would likely prejudice the interests of the local government. I'm happy to move as recommended. Seek a seconder. Councillor Fisher, Deputy Mayor. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried. And pursuant of S512 local government procedures, that the meeting now moves into closed session and be closed to the public. I'm happy to move and seek a seconder. Councillor Latcham. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. So the meeting now be closed to the public.
Adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Thank you, Linda. Councillors, the officer's recommendation is that the council proceed with the project as outlined in option 1 of the report. I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Deputy Mayor Councillor Fisher. Those in favour. Those opposed. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you, Councillor. We'll invite Councillor Smith back into the meeting and we'll close the meeting. There is a council briefing session after lunch, and Evan, did you have?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, maybe.
Yep. Thanks, Councillor Smith. Councillors, that brings us to the end of our agenda items for today's meeting, and I'll close the meeting. Thanks very much, and thanks, officers, for their reports.